Welcome to the stories on Echoes of Revenge. Step into a world where love turns dangerous, revenge feels inevitable, and every story drags you deeper into the shadows of desire, betrayal, and the human heart. Let's begin today's story. The farm had been in my name for 12 years. Dad transferred it to me in 2013 when I was 32, the year I left my consulting job in Boston to come home and actually work the land. The deed was recorded. The agricultural exemption was filed annually. The property taxes, $14,200 per year, came from my account. Every fence post, every irrigation line, every equipment loan, mine. My brother Derek knew this. He'd left for Denver at 25, built a commercial landscaping company, visited twice a year for Christmas and the 4th of July. He'd walk the property line with Dad talking about our family legacy and the Morrison heritage, but he'd never mucked a stall, never fixed a tractor at 3 a.m., never lost sleep over drought or commodity prices. At Dad's retirement party last month, Derek announced he was expanding his business into agricultural contracting. Federal government work, he said, accepting congratulations from cousins who didn't know the difference between a W-2 and a 1099. The SBA is backing it. 7-figure loan. It's all secured against family assets. Something in the way he said family assets made the hair on my neck stand up. The way he avoided eye contact when I looked at him. The way Mom smiled too brightly and changed the subject. I drove home that night smelling like the caterer's pulled pork and dread. At 6 a.m. the next morning I called the county assessor's office. I need to set up alerts for any liens or encumbrances filed against my property, I told them. They added my email to the notification system. It took 4 minutes. 2 weeks later the email arrived at 11:23 a.m. UCC financing statement filed. 240 acres Morrison Family Farm 1847 County Road 16. I opened it with my tractor idling in the north field. My vision went white at the edges. United States Small Business Administration. Loan amount, $1,200,000. Secured party. Derek Morrison D/B/A Morrison Agricultural Services LLC. Collateral description. 240-acre agricultural property including improvements, equipment and livestock. My property. My collateral. My forged authorization. I called the SBA regional office from my truck. This is James Morrison. Someone has filed loan paperwork using my property as collateral without my knowledge or authorization. The intake officer sounded bored until I said the dollar amount. Then his tone sharpened. Sir, that loan is already approved. The first disbursement is scheduled for Monday. I am the sole owner of that property, I said, forcing my voice to stay level. I have the deed. I have 12 years of tax records. I have the agricultural exemption filed every year since 2013. I did not authorize this loan. This is fraud. He transferred me to the asset verification unit. I spent 90 minutes on the phone emailing documentation from my truck while my soybeans needed checking and my irrigation system needed monitoring. The verification officer, Patricia Ruiz, went silent for a long moment after reviewing my deed. Mr. Morrison, we're freezing this loan immediately and opening a fraud investigation. This is a federal matter now. Our Office of Inspector General will be contacting you. I sat in my truck watching the sprinklers throw rainbow arcs across the field. Derek had tried to steal my farm, not outright but by leveraging it, by risking it, by treating 12 years of my labor as his collateral without asking, without permission, without conscience. That afternoon I created the ghost ledger. I'd been thinking about it for years without knowing what to call it. The emotional accounting that never shows up on balance sheets. I opened a spreadsheet. The ghost ledger. Costs of being the one who stayed. Entry 1. Every family gathering where Derek was praised for his business success while I was asked when I'd get a real job. Frequency, 40+ times over 12 years. Cost, dignity validation. Entry 2. Dad's 70th birthday when Derek flew in for 36 hours, gave an iPad, got standing ovation. I'd driven Dad to chemo 17 times that year. Got handshake. Cost, invisible caregiving. Entry 3. The years I paid Dad's medical bills, $23,400 total, while Derek couldn't access liquid assets. He bought a Tesla 2 months later. Cost, $23,400 plus trust. Entry 4. Every phone call where Derek called me lucky to inherit the farm when I'd worked it for free for 3 years before Dad transferred it. Cost. My sacrifice reframed as privilege. Entry 5. Christmas 2019. Derek told his kids their cousin, my son, was just a farmer, while they were entrepreneurs in training. My son was 12. Cost. Generational contempt. Entry 6. The 4,380 hours I spent maintaining the property Derek called ours in conversations but yours when bills arrived. Cost. Phantom partnership. The ledger reached 32 entries. Each one a paper cut. Together, a pattern of exploitation disguised as family dynamics. Monday morning, 2 federal investigators from the SBA Office of Inspector General arrived at my farm. Special Agent Michael Torres and financial analyst Rebecca Vaughn spent 4 hours reviewing documents at my kitchen table. My deed. My tax returns showing farm income since 2013. My agricultural exemption certificates. My equipment loan history. My livestock inventory records. Mr. Morrison, Torres said finally, his expression grim, your brother submitted falsified ownership documents to the SBA. He claimed joint ownership with you as co-borrowers. The signature on the authorization form isn't yours. We'll confirm that with forensic analysis, but it's visually apparent. What happens now? I asked. Federal mortgage fraud investigation. If he knowingly submitted false information to obtain government-backed financing, he's looking at up to 30 years under 18 U.S.C. 1014. We'll also be reviewing his existing federal contracts for similar irregularities. My phone started ringing that afternoon. First Derek, then Mom, then Dad, then Derek's wife Ashley. I let them all go to voicemail. I had 73 acres of soybeans to monitor and an irrigation system making a grinding noise that meant expensive repairs if I didn't address it. Derek showed up at my farm at 7 p.m., driving his F-350 too fast down my gravel drive, scattering chickens. I met him in the yard with my arms crossed, smelling like diesel and dirt. James, what the hell did you do? He was red-faced, his voice cracking between anger and panic. The SBA froze everything. My loan is dead. They're investigating me. They're reviewing my federal contracts. Do you know what this means? You tried to steal my farm, Derek. I wasn't stealing it. I was leveraging family assets for family benefit. The business would have. This isn't a family asset, I interrupted, my voice flat and cold. This is my asset. My name on the deed. My 12 years of work. My risk. My equity. You don't get to leverage what you didn't build. I'm your brother. You forged documents. You filed fraudulent paperwork with the federal government. You put my property at risk for your business expansion without asking me. I stared at him. If I had done this to you, used your house as collateral without permission, would you be defending me right now? He opened his mouth. Closed it. Tried again. The family will never forgive you for this. The family didn't pay $14,200 in property taxes every year. The family didn't fix fences in January snowstorms. The family didn't take the risk. I turned toward my barn. You should leave. The investigation moved with federal efficiency. The forensic document examiner confirmed within a week. The signature authorizing collateral use was forged. The handwriting analysis was conclusive. Derek had signed my name on 3 separate documents submitted to the SBA. The financial review was more damaging. The investigators discovered Derek had also submitted inflated revenue projections based on contracts he didn't actually have. His existing federal landscaping contract with the Department of Veterans Affairs, worth $340,000 annually, was immediately suspended pending ethics review. His attorney, Margaret Chin, was frank with him. You committed federal fraud. The evidence is overwhelming. Take the plea or face trial in 30 years. The U.S. attorney offered a deal. Guilty plea to 1 count of making false statements to the SBA, 18 months federal prison, 3 years supervised release, $85,000 in restitution and fines, permanent ban from federal contracting, and forfeiture of the business equipment purchased with the fraudulent loan's first disbursement. Mom called it destroying the family. Dad said I was throwing my brother away over paperwork. I called it consequences for federal crimes. Derek's business collapsed within 90 days. His commercial clients terminated contracts when news of the fraud investigation became public. His equipment was seized. His office lease was broken. His 12 employees found other jobs. Morrison Agricultural Services LLC dissolved. Ashley filed for divorce 4 months later, citing financial fraud she claimed she knew nothing about. The divorce proceedings revealed Derek had mortgaged their house without telling her to fund the business expansion. She got the house in the settlement. He got the debt. 6 months later, I sat on my porch at sunset watching my son, now 16, drive the tractor across the south field, preparing for spring planting. The air smelled like turned earth and possibility. My phone had been quiet for weeks. No family calls. No accusations of cruelty. No demands to fix this. The silence felt like exhaling after holding your breath for years. I'd spent 12 years treating the farm like a family asset because that's what they called it, even though only my name was on the deed, only my labor maintained it, only my risk sustained it. I'd accepted their language, family legacy, Morrison heritage, even as they treated my work as their entitlement. But land doesn't lie. Deeds don't negotiate. Ownership is recorded in county offices with dates and signatures and witnesses. My name. My property. My choice. I opened the ghost ledger one final time and added the last entry. Entry 33. The day I stopped letting them call my property ours, while treating my boundaries as theirs to violate. Cost. A family that valued my assets more than my autonomy. Gain. 240 acres of freedom, 12 years of equity protected, and a son who now understands that inheritance means responsibility, not entitlement. My lawyer had sent the final paperwork last week. The SBA lien was removed. The county records were cleared. An additional declaration of sole ownership was filed, explicitly prohibiting future claims. The account was closed. The balance was zero. And after 12 years of feeding coins into the family slot machine, I'd finally walked away from a game designed for me to lose. The land was mine. The future was mine. And for the first time since I'd left Boston to come home, I understood the difference between family property and property that happened to stay in the family. One required my permission. The other had only required my silence. I was done being silent.